The NHL trade deadline is set for Friday, March 8th, and the Flyers are looking to be pretty active there. They are playing with house money this season as they are likely going to secure a playoff spot in a rebuilding year. They have multiple first-round picks in the next draft, and it looks like they're going to get more at the deadline. I'm going to break down their trade deadline plans and shed light onto the moves they might make. If you are new to the channel, welcome. I talk about all things Philly sports, so if you're a Philadelphia sports fan, consider subscribing because this is the perfect place for you. One move I want to address is reacquiring Flyer legend Claude Giroux. Giroux was traded back in March of 2022 and has since signed with the Ottawa Senators. With the Flyers fighting for a playoff spot and the Senators at the bottom of the Eastern Conference, a reunion could make sense. Giroux wants to win a Stanley Cup, and this season, the Flyers give him a better chance at that. The forward still has a lot left in the tank as he has 25 points in 27 games, which would be second on the Flyers in scoring. He even played with general manager Danny Briere, and they had a solid relationship, even living together at one point. There are many who believe a Giroux reunion would be beneficial to the Flyers, but there are arguments that go against that. He is not a rental until next season, so the Flyers won't want to give up too much for him. He would come back without captain status, so it might be weird fitting him in again. I can see him being moved at the deadline, just not to the Flyers, not this year at least. It would be cool, however, to see Claude Giroux come home and help them back to the Stanley Cup Finals, a job he wasn't able to finish back in 2010. Moving on to more realistic plans, the Flyers may take a deep look into the Columbus Blue Jackets to acquire assets for the end of the season and the playoff run. Johnny Gaudreau is the name that jumps out the most, as he was the guy the Flyers stupidly passed on with Chuck Fletcher at the helm. It would be great to have Gaudreau, but is he realistic for the Flyers right now? He has 5 more years left on his deal, with also a $9.7 million cap hit, so financially, they might want to shy away from that. Head coach John Tortorella has talked down on Gaudreau in recent years, so pairing the two might not be the best idea. Torts has done a great job with the team this year, so adding a guy that he isn't pleased with doesn't sound ideal to me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Should the Flyers make a blockbuster trade for Gaudreau, or should they avoid him this season? Another guy on the Blue Jackets that would be a fit for the Flyers is left-handed defenseman Zach Werenski. Werenski is 26 and is under contract for 4 more years, so he would be a mainstay on the Flyers' defense with Jamie Drysdale for years to come. He would almost immediately help fix the power play that has struggled for the Flyers, so adding anybody of that caliber is a huge plus. Also, he is making nearly $10 million per year for the next 4 years, so eating that money is probably worth it for a Flyers team looking to fix the power play. The only worry is that he is prone to injury, so you risk losing him to that. This is a trade that could be at the top of their plans for the deadline, so it will be interesting to see how that plays out over the next month. Now we know the Flyers are still in a rebuild, so they are looking to add draft picks to add to the future of this team. Sean Walker is a guy they brought over in the Ivan Provorov trade in the offseason, and he has blossomed this season with the orange and black. He is 29, and this is his first outcome of true success in the NHL, so moving him could be benefit for the Flyers. It's hard to tell if Walker will repeat his good play in the future, so trading him for draft capital is the move they want to make. With Danny Briere's magic, Walker is likely to draw a first-round pick for a team desperate to add a defenseman. If they are unable to find a trade, which I think is unlikely, Walker will still provide help for the Flyers the rest of the season, but they want to get as much value for him as they can while he is still playing at his best. Another defenseman that the Flyers are likely to move is Rasmus Ristolainen. Ristolainen is a very similar player to Walker, but he may not be as easy to trade. He is under contract for 3 more years, and teams may not want to make a commitment on him over a guy like Walker, who is an unrestricted free agent at season's end. Ultimately, I think there is a good chance we see Ristolainen on the Flyers after the deadline, most likely because of his contract. Sean Walker looks to be the main trade candidate, but don't rule out a Ristolainen trade as well. I mentioned in the intro of the video that the Flyers are looking to add first-round picks. Sean Walker and Rasmus Ristolainen can help them acquire at least one, but they might be able to add another as well. Morgan Frost and Nick Seeler are other candidates to trade for draft capital. I like Morgan Frost, and with how good he has been recently, I want him to stay on this team. The Flyers are going to get plenty of draft capital at this trade deadline, so they don't need to trade away all of their guys. Frost is one of the exceptions I would make, as I think he can provide a lot as a former first-rounder. The Flyers haven't been to the playoffs since the 2020 season. We are itching to taste playoff hockey again in this city, but we can't get overexcited and want to trade our future for the best available players. The future is the focus for this organization right now. Whatever they do this season is a bonus. They are absolutely playing with house money because they weren't supposed to be in this position in the standings, and they have the draft capital to still be successful. I'm excited to see how the rest of the season plays out because the Flyers can go on a run and shock the world. But it all starts at the trade deadline. We should get a look at where this team stands after that, and in my opinion, they're going to carry that underdog mentality the rest of the way and shock a lot of people. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the Flyers and their plans at the March 8th trade deadline. Like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe so you can stay up to date with all things Philly sports. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.